Hello again, guys, and welcome to another episode of Vantage Point presented by On the Range Podcast with Warhog Tactical and Kelly Defense. I am your host, Mark Kelly. Wherever you are, thank you for making us part of your day. And today's episode is brought to you by the Firearms Training Notebook. You want to level up your training? Get yourself a copy of the Firearms Training Notebook. 1% better every day. It's available on Amazon. You can also go to the websites at warhog.com and kellydefense.com. Pick up a signed copy, level up your training, see progression, and plan your next dry fire and live fire session. Speaking of the websites, again, warhog.com, kellydefense.com, our training calendars. Make sure you visit the industry partners, sign up for those newsletters and notifications. Get updates on everything Warhog, Tactical, and Kelly Defense. And don't forget, while you're on those websites, check out the Patreon page. Go to patreon.com/On the Range Podcast. Become a member of the OTR Patreon crew. Get special bonus content, 2 Zoom calls every month with Rick and I. And all of our video training content is on the Patreon page and is free with your subscription for the use of the Patreon crew. Again, become a Patreon crew member, and then all the bonus content from each show, once the show starts for the public, the only thing you can do to watch the rest of the show is become a member of the Patreon crew at patreon.com/On the Range Podcast. Support for On the Range Podcast and the Vantage Point is brought to you by Manscaped. Go to manscaped.com, use the promo code OTR20, save yourself 20% and get free shipping. Let's go ahead and start the show. Our good friend Stephen Colbert, he's done it again. Just when you think he's not going to do it anymore, he's going to do it again. He's been pretty quiet. Been pretty quiet since his arch nemesis, Donald Trump, is no longer in office. Been pretty quiet. Still says some amazing things. But this is something that is completely hypocritical beyond what we're normally seeing from Stephen Colbert. And I love the entertainment stuff. It's very fascinating to me. Very fascinating to me. I think it's a snapshot of really what's going on. What type of propaganda is going out there? All kinds of stuff. Remember when he had that crazy dance and song routine, with the syringes? These guys had the syringes costumes on and they're dancing around, talking about go get the poke and all that stuff. You guys remember that? Crazy. So let me go ahead and bring this up. Those of you who are watching will be able to see this. This is an article courtesy of the Daily Wire. And I love the Daily Wire. Big fan. So if you look at this article, Colbert mocks the Energy Department, saying the Chinese leaked through one of their shops over there. You know what I'm talking about. Next to the market. Likely started the COVID. No kidding. Late night host Stephen Colbert mocked the claim that the Department of Energy in that place over there in China was likely responsible for the origin of the COVID pandemic. Wow. News. Great. Just, I didn't see this one coming. Just unbelievably, they dug this up. I think this is the Washington Times, or actually, is this Washington Times? No, Wall Street Journal. But he mocked it. Because they just can't say, hey, I was wrong. Or, hey, this might be it. The Department of Energy released a new report saying a lab leak is the most likely origin of the COVID-19 pandemic. No kidding. And then he goes on to mock it. By saying, stay in your lane. Because it's the Department of Energy, you see. And he also says, how can you be doing that when you should be building these charging stations for these electric cars? So he's mocking the whole thing. Stay in your lane. Comedy Central, I saw another show on there. I'm not going to advertise that either, where the guy was talking about, yeah, we can't wait to hear what the BMV chimes in with. So you see how they're doing it. They're trying to roll this off out softly. You don't hear much about it anymore. But all of a sudden, now they're starting to roll this out. They're starting to have this story come out. I think they're trying to detract some of the attention from the Ukraine debacle, where the former President Donald Trump seized the moment going to East Palestine, Ohio. That was smart. He picked up all kinds of political capital with that, all kinds of it. So yeah, Stephen Colbert up to his, it's amazing. Remember when he had that interview with Jon Stewart? And Jon Stewart just said, hey, man, this probably came from this lab. This is over a year ago. And Stephen Colbert melted down, really treating Jon bad. And I've mentioned this before. Bill Maher and Jon Stewart, heavy leftists for the most part, but they have common sense. They hate him for that. A liberal with common sense, they hate that. And they speak their mind. Yeah. Our old buddy, Stephen Colbert, I tell you what, you talk about someone who just really has just sold everything for this machine, hasn't he? I think he has. Next topic. So our good friend, Gavin Newsom. Now you remember, all these folks are basically saying that you don't need to do this. It's over. Everybody can go back to normal. Well, California wasn't playing by those rules. He was the last holdout. So check out what our good buddy Gavin Newsom's doing. I think probably the worst governor ever. Governor Newsom officially ends COVID state of emergency after 3 years. The state of emergency. And, you still hear some of these, like the Washington Post and the New York Times, you still hear them say in an emergency. What emergency? Who else is operating under an emergency other than the state of California? And then people say it. They keep saying it all the time. California Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom officially ended the COVID state of emergency on Tuesday, nearly 3 years after placing residents under strict lockdown orders and expanding his legal powers as chief executive of the state. Well, I'm sure he enjoyed the chief executive additional power stuff. Newsom became one of the first governors in the U.S. to declare a state of COVID emergency on March 4th, 2020. 3 years almost to the day. But the reason is because California is now better prepared. And that's because we have a serious legislature and health ecosystem in California, and is second to none in the country. I'm going to tell you right now, there's nothing really out there besides the state being beautiful that's second to none, arguably. It's a mess out there. All because of the policies of guys like this Newsom character. California currently ranks 11th as the country's lowest COVID death rate per capita, according to the Times. And yet he still maintained this until just a couple of days ago. Critics accused the governor of shutting down the economy, harming businesses and families as companies and school were forced to close. Now, we know what these lockdowns and some of these other policies did to the schools, especially up in Chicago. We had a story about that on the Vantage Point. Go check that out. Just devastating. Republican State Senator Melissa Melendez said, pushing for her measure last year, that the state legislature should do its job and address this thing. And she's right. She's right. This went on way too long. Way too long. I'm happy for those Americans out there in California now I don't know what that means is complete. Just because he says that the state of emergency is over, I don't think he's going to give up all those restrictions. I don't think they're over by a long shot. I really don't. But we'll see. Anything else comes out on this, I'll make sure I let you guys know. But let's get back to our friends at Manscaped. Spring has sprung, and our friends at Manscaped have the best tools for some spring cleaning. They've already helped you tidy up all the nooks and crannies of your body basement. But this year, Manscaped can help you with that perfect presentation on that beautiful face of yours, men. With the new Beard Hedger Pro Kit. Make sure you look your best this spring by using promo code OTR20. Get 20% off and free shipping at Manscaped. Now, the Beard Hedger. This kit starts off with the hedger itself. It's waterproof, cordless. It's a trimmer with a rotary wheel that gives you 20 different hair cutting lengths with one guard. So you don't have to have a drawer full of guards anymore, guys. You guys with the big beards. Now, I'm clean shaven right now, but I'll bring it back. It's a high piece of tech, and it looks like a piece of art. The travel size package will be with a long-lasting battery and universal charging. And it's got a very strong motor. All their stuff is really engineered well. It's really engineered well, and you're going to love it, just like the lawnmower and the weed whacker. So again, make sure you go to manscaped.com, use the promo code OTR20, and save 20% and get free shipping. Again, save 20% off and free shipping with the promo code OTR20 at manscaped.com. Focus on the face and use the Beard Hedger Pro Kit for the cleanest look in the game. We're cutting across all lines, and the beard is next, and I'm sure these products, you're just going to love them. We love them. Everything that Manscaped does, you're going to look like $1 million and have fun doing it, just like with the lawnmower. So make sure you go check it out. Go to manscaped.com, OTR20, save yourself 20% and get free shipping. Okay, guys. The show is going to continue over on the Patreon page. So go to patreon.com/On the Range podcast. Become a Patreon crew, an OTR Patreon crew member, and finish up this episode. Also, you can check out all the training content that's already loaded up. So make sure you go to patreon.com/On the Range podcast and become an OTR Patreon crew member.